Well, welcome everyone, and this is going to be our big batch cooking. And it's going to be fairly large. I initially was going to do several different kinds of freezer breakfast meals, and then several freezer meals for the weekends and for my family when they travel. And I'm still going to do that, but I'm also going to be making a taco casserole. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 2. Probably 3. I'm kind of shooting for 4, hoping. So we'll see how it goes. But I've got my ground beef here. I've got my pot here. I've got all my ingredients back over here. And we're going to get started browning this ground beef first. So I'll be right back. Okay, we've got the ground beef in the pot now. I'm going to go ahead and start seasoning it. A lot of folks, they like to cook it, then drain the grease off, then season. I kind of come from this place where I like to season as I go. I'm still going to drain off the grease, but I have found that the flavor is better if you season before, and you just kind of keep seasoning throughout. I don't know, call me weird, but it's just the way I roll. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this and season it, and then once I drain the grease off, then I'm going to actually season it again. What we're going to do, I've got homemade taco seasoning here that I have made, and it's just the basic taco seasonings, cumin, chili powder, onion, garlic, that kind of thing. And rather than having the packets, which I am currently out of, I'm going to use my own homemade, and I added, probably about, I'd say 2 teaspoons of salt and probably a tablespoon of the seasoning. So I'm going to give that a good mix, and I'm just going to keep cooking. Okay, our meat is cooking along nicely. I forgot to mention, this is about 6 pounds of ground beef. I'm going to make a lot of taco casserole. So all I have for this is a super simple recipe, and it's just kind of one of my own making. And it's super simple. I get, I love the Hunt's brand meat sauce. It's perfect. One member of my family really has a tough time with really acidic things. So I tend to err on the side of caution. I tried one of these guys, and he was just like, you know what, that's really good. I like that. It wasn't too acidic for him. It wasn't too sweet. It was a good middle of the road. And I find I use that a lot, whether I do the taco casseroles or if I'm doing even lasagnas. I'll use that as a base, and it works really well. So I'm going to use about 4 cans of those, and then I'm going to use just some frozen corn. That's all that goes in there. Kidney beans. I have about 5 cans of these out. I don't know if I'm going to use all those 5 cans, but I always like to bring a little extra up just in case. And then I'm going to use between 1 and 2 bags of the restaurant style tortilla chips. That's all there. And then I'm going to use our finishing ingredient, cheese. Lots and lots of cheese. I love cheese. I get excited over cheese. I'm just a mess. But anyways, it's a very simple recipe. Just, some seasonings, some basic staples, and it's basically a one-pot wonder. You throw everything together, you crumple up the chips, you throw in the cheese, and it's done. And it's really, really good, which is obscenely wonderful in my opinion, because like any good casserole, you don't always have to knock yourself out trying to make a meal for your loved ones and for yourself. And I love meals like this because I can stock up my freezer with meals like this. And again, weekends around here are incredibly, incredibly hectic. And I mean, I'm here by myself through the week, but I'm working nonstop, and it's hectic then too. So there's not really a lot of downtime, even though we're in January and I'm just now getting to where I'm going to start planning out the garden and doing all of that, I'm still really busy. So meals like this is just it's heaven sent. It's economical. Especially with the ground beef. I know ground beef is horrendously expensive right now. Even having said that, what I tend to do is I'll get the, wait for sales to go on, the 10-pound big rolls of ground beef. And I can get one of those. Currently, I can get one of those for about $28. That's not bad. And it's 80/20. So it's not like, like the cheaper where it's, you cook it down and you're left with a little bit of meat and a whole lot of fat. This is 80/20. And where I'm currently at right now, I can get 10 pounds in the rolls for $28. And what I'll do is I'll set each week just a little bit of money aside and kind of stock up that on my grocery list. And then I can go into the store and I can get 2 or 3 rolls, and then that'll last us for several months. So yes, it is economical, but only in the sense that for the protein, i.e. the ground beef, what I do is I put a little aside each week so that I can afford to do that. And then I do like this, a big batch cook. And then I've got freezer meals for 5 months, 6 months, depending on how much I make. So yeah, I love this dish. It's a family favorite and it freezes beautifully. And you don't even have to defrost any of these things that you're going to see me make that are freezer meals. You do not have to defrost them at all. You can take them straight from the freezer into an oven. Just know that if it's frozen, if you put your oven at 375, it is still going to be about an hour to an hour and a half. If you go 350, you're going easily 2 to 2.5 hours. So if it's frozen. Now, if you do want to defrost it, by all means, you can do that. These items will be, for the most part, fully cooked, except like a lasagna. I do use the oven-ready noodles on that. So you would bake that for like an hour. An hour for those, probably the same, 350, 375. But for freezer meals, if you want to defrost them, really, just take it out the night before, put it in your fridge. Again, it's probably going to take you, defrost it, I would still say 40 minutes. It depends on your oven, everyone. Everyone's oven, I know my oven was weird for a while and it wasn't heating properly, and we got a thermometer put in it, oven thermometer. And that was a real game changer because we were able to pinpoint what was wrong with it. My rambling point being that, it's going to depend a lot on your ovens. But generally, those are pretty good guidelines, what I gave you. So I'm going to finish cooking this up. I'm going to get this excess grease off. And I will either, there's quite a bit in here. Again, I said 6 pounds of ground beef. So I'm going to show you a little trick. Well, it's not really a trick, but it's generally what I do is I just take a bowl that a gallon Ziploc bag will fit in. I don't even need to show you this, so simple. A bowl that a gallon bag, Ziploc bag will fit in, fold it over the edges of the bowl, and then just get yourself like a ladle, a large ladle, and just start spooning it out, draining the grease off that way. You can use a colander, but I found that it just makes it a pain in the butt to have to clean that colander of little bits of ground beef stuck in it. And yeah, and then you've got to clean the bowl that the grease went into, and it's just kind of a hassle. So I just do it that way. Bowl, gallon bag, Ziploc bag that will fit inside the bowl that you can kind of fold over, at least kind of, generally get it fit. And then just start ladling out the grease. So that's about it. So I'm going to finish cooking this up. I'm going to drain the grease, and then I will be right back at you. Okay, I have moved over to my big roasting pan because honestly I don't have a pot big enough that I can cook in and mix in, I should say. I have plenty of large stock pots and things, but I need to properly mix this. So I tend to use my roasting pan. It works really well. There's a lot of surface area, so it makes it easier to do. So the ground beef is done. And it's heavy, so I'm going to cheat and do it this way and get all that lovely goodness out. Little unorthodox, but this copper pot is so heavy. And I am not made of muscle, so oops, I missed some here. Let's get those guys out. Okay, kind of spread that out. Let me get the pot out of the way here. Just set that in the sink. Okay, so we got a lot of ground beef here. Okay, now I went ahead and I opened my cans of kidney beans. I opened 4, so we're going to go with 4. And just go with that. See if I can get the lids off without ripping a finger off here. I got lucky I had one with a pull top. Oh, I love pull tops. You always appreciate a pull top can when you're standing there with a can opener and you're on like, oh, that worked well. And you're on like your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th can you're trying to open and you're like, you know what, I'm done. It can wait, I'm done, I'm out. Okay, so let me get rid of these guys and here's can number 4. Okay, so get that out, cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a little bit of a mix. You can see why a roasting pan is so much easier to work with. I'm going to be making a recipe that I made up. Again, I make up a lot of recipes, just so you're aware. The cheesy chicken and rice casserole, and I definitely always use the roasting pan because it contains rice, corn, cheese, chicken, and it's very thick, and it's very bulky. And I mean, literally, I have to really get in there and stir. And I couldn't do it without the roasting pan. I just have to have that extra real estate to work with. That looks pretty good with 4 cans in it. Looks nice and, yeah, I would say that looks pretty good. Okay, let's do our corn. Actually, yeah, let me throw some corn in first. And then we'll throw some sauce in. This is still frozen. That's fine. I brought 2 bags in because I have found with this recipe, you probably don't want to put too much corn in there. Corn's great. It tastes great. It does stretch the meal further, which, you know, everybody loves that. But you can also kind of overdo it if you're not careful. Let me see how this looks. For a split second there, I thought I was just going to flip it right like that. Yeah, like that. I was going to flip it out of the pan. I don't know. That looks to be just about the right amount of corn, actually. Okay, let's start putting some sauce in. See if I can get... okay. I can't get... You know how the lids, when you open, they sink and you can't get them out? Let's see. Let me use... I know I'm going to need 2 at least. There we go. Okay. Okay. Wipe my hands off. I got saucy fingers. Okay. Give that a little mix. Now, that extra seasoning at the end after I cook the meat that I told you I was going to do, I have not done yet. I will do it, but first I want to get my preliminary ingredients in here. And I also want to mention that because this casserole contains tortilla chips, those are salted. And so you want to be careful. Yes, I started with salt at the beginning when I was cooking, but at the end, when I mix everything together, I will taste it to be sure it doesn't need anything else, because I don't want to add salt without really knowing if I need salt, because those chips are going to be very salty. If I'm not careful, I could overdo it. So I have not added anything yet. This is the part, it'll take you a minute. There's quite a bit to mix in, and I'm trying to be sure that everything is coated, because I'm finding in the corners I am missing getting that kind of fold it into the center. Goodness, I hope this pan's going to be big enough. Yeah, I'm definitely going to add more sauce because again, those chips are going to soak up a lot of liquid. So, and then you're going to cook it. So I want to get it definitely more on the saucy side, which sounds it sounded weird, but definitely more on the saucy side. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a little bit more here. And I did grab my cumin because we do like cumin in this house. So I may boost that just a little bit. Okay, I've got a clean spoon here. I'm going to do a tiny test. Even though it's cold. Okay, it's good, but yeah, it needs a lot more seasoning. So we're going in. All right, so I've got another tablespoon of the taco seasoning. I'm thinking, and a teaspoon more maybe, or probably closer to a tablespoon. And it's definitely going to need a little bit of salt, but again, I'm going to put just a tiny little boop in there. And I'm going to go ahead and just shake a little bit more cumin on there, and let's give that a mix. This is pretty much, I love these kinds of recipes where you can just kind of work with what you have. I did my grocery haul video and it was absent of those chips. I did have to go buy chips. Because, well, I kind of found out I was making this last night. So it was kind of like, well, it sure is easy enough to sneak in and everybody loves it. I just need chips. So I did have to buy those separate. But it's just so simple. You know, it's a simple meal that everybody loves. Okay, clean spoon. Let me see what that's like. That should be good. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. Yeah, that's coming along. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to get some more sauce because I somehow managed to buy a 4-cheese one instead of a meat. So I'll be back. I'm going to go downstairs, get some more goodies. I'll be right back. Okay, so I made a couple of choices while you were away, and I really wanted to make as many of these casseroles as possible, so I actually went ahead and used the can of 4-cheese sauce, and it's a tomato sauce. It's just 4-cheese flavored, and I went ahead and used it and put those in, and then I went ahead and added the rest of the corn and the kidney beans, and actually it's looking pretty good, and it is filling up this roasting pot, which is good. I can get several casseroles out of this. I decided to go ahead and put it back on the heat. I'm going to bring it to a simmer because I really want those spices to wake up. You know, yes, I tasted it when it's cold, and I can get a reasonable idea of how it tastes. But by heating it, I'm going to bring out those flavors better. And I know this. I think I'm just having an off day. You know how it is. But yeah, we're going to bring it up to a nice little simmer. I'm going to let those spices get happy. Then we'll do another taste test. And once we're happy, we add chips and cheese and all kinds of things and such. And it'll be wonderful. So we'll be right back. Okay. We got quite a bit here. And as you can see, the edges of this pot, my mixture is almost to the edge. So I think what I'm going to try and do, because I decided to be extra this evening and make so much, is I'm going to mix in some cheese into this first and then put it in this bowl. And I think I'm going to do it because I wanted to get at least a few of these casseroles with my pans. I'm going to go ahead and kind of do them individually. At least that's my theory. Now I have tasted this. I have added extra taco seasoning and a little bit more cumin, and I've tasted it, and it's good. It's ready to go. So I'm going to set my spoon aside. Well, no, actually I'm not, because I'm going to add some cheese. So I always add some extra, just, I don't know, a few handfuls, whatever makes you happy. And then I'm just gonna give that a little stir. I did heat this up and let those flavors come together, and like I said, it turned out really good. It's a much larger batch than I'm used to, so I did actually end up having to add quite a bit more of the taco seasoning and more cumin, like I said. But I've tasted it now. I really didn't need but just maybe a teaspoon more salt, and it was still bland-ish. So by the time I add the chips, it should be good to go. So, okay, that looks pretty good. The cheese is melting. It's actually stuck to my spoon is what it is. Okay, this is the fun part. I've never done it this way before. I've always mixed in one pan, but I'm trying to get multiples here, so I'm gonna try and do this without too much catastrophe here. So that's 2 good-sized ladles. I'm looking at my pan as I do this to try and judge. I'm thinking one more. Yeah, that seems about right. Let's add our chips. I've already crushed these up. You do crush these up. You don't have to pulverize them, but you know, I crush them up a little bit. But I did that off camera because it would be really, really loud. So let's add, and I'm sorry, the bag alone is probably excruciating if you're wearing headphones. I do apologize. I am just eyeballing this. Let me grab my spoon. String of cheese there. And I'm just going to give her a mix. Yeah, I'm going to need more. I don't know how this is going to pan out portion-wise. Pan out, get it? I'm goofy. Sorry, guys. Okay, no, stay in the bowl. Okay, I don't know. That's looking not bad, to be honest. I'm probably looking at my pan again. Yeah, I'm going to add some more. Another spoonful, if I can make it. Yeah, that should be good right there. Okay, yeah, that looks good right there. Good consistency, good chip to filling ratio. I'm gonna grab my pan. I love using these because easy cleanup and you don't have to grease it. Although I will suggest that if you use aluminum pans with the lids, go ahead and use some nonstick spray on the lid or just a light coating of vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever you like. Because I have learned from experience, if you don't do that, all of that beautiful cheese you're going to top this with will stick to your lid. And it's sad. No cheese left behind. Okay. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's a nice big pan of taco casserole. Okay, let me get all the love out of the bowl here. Okay, let me set this aside. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty gosh darn good, guys. Okay. I'll show you the finished product here. We're going to top it with some more cheese, of course. Okay, just make it pretty. I have to watch myself because I get really, really carried away with the cheese. I have issues. Thank goodness I'm not lactose intolerant. Okay, so. Okay, little naked corner there. Let's fill that in. Okay, so let's set our cheese aside. Okay, and there we go. There's one. And it looks like I can probably get 2 more. I'm thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling these up and I will be right back with you guys. Well, this is pretty exciting, everyone. I actually did get 4. I'm so excited. I got 4 casseroles. I actually put one of these in the oven already. And once that's heated through and the cheese is all nice and bubbly, I am going to partition that into some meals for the road. And then these other 3 are going in the freezer. So we've got 3 down towards our freezer meals, and I'm pretty excited. So next, I think we're going to go ahead and get into making some freezer meals for breakfast. So I will see you soon. Okay, we are ready to get started on our next recipe, which is going to be our breakfast burritos. And those are really simple too, and they freeze beautifully. So those are just going to simply contain these enormous potatoes over here. That one right there is a good 10 inches long. I don't know what happened. I'm going to run with it though. I've got a bowl of water over there to soak my diced potatoes in, my bench scraper. And over here, I've got the rest of the breakfast burrito ingredients. I've got the sausage and eggs. I'm going to shred some more cheese because I'm out. And I've got my cutter right here for my potatoes. So we're going to get busy on prepping these potatoes, and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and we've got a nice hot skillet, and I have the potatoes here, and I'm going to throw my oil in. Keep my sausage rolls from going off the counter there. This is just a nice olive oil right here. I'm going to probably put quite a bit in there, about a 1/4 cup. I've got a lot of potatoes here. And it looks like that's all the room at the end. So we're going to set those aside. And I'm going to go ahead and put some more oil over the top. Believe me, they will soak this up. And we're going to salt generously. And this is the way I always make these skillet potatoes, country potatoes, however you like to call them. Just some garlic powder, onion powder, and good quality salt and olive oil. That's it. And then I'm going to grab a spatula and just give it a good gentle mix. I'm going to try and keep in the pan is what I'm going to do. And we lost one. Okay. Get them kind of mixed the best I can. I probably actually shouldn't have put quite this many in. But they're also going to shrink down as this cooks. So let's give it a nice little... I'm going to try and give it a nice little turn. And I've got my temperature on my burners right here at about medium high. But I will monitor the temperature. And all I'm going to do for right now is I'm just going to let it sit and get happy. So we will be right back. Okay, while those potatoes are cooking, we're not going to be idle. We're going to go ahead and get started on the sausage right here for the burritos. I actually kept one of the sausage rolls out because we're going to slice those and cook them up into patties for the breakfast sandwiches. But for right now, I'm going to work on getting this started while the potatoes work behind me. Okay, our potatoes are coming along nicely. They've got a ways to go, probably another 15 minutes. And I'm glad I put that extra oil in because it's really crisping them up nicely. It's looking really lovely. And then when the potatoes are done, I will wipe out the excess oil, and then we're going to make some eggs. Now over here behind me, we have browned up the sausage, and it is fully cooked. I'm going to place it over here in a bowl lined with paper towels to get the excess grease off. And then I'm going to start shredding quite a bit of cheese. So I'll be back momentarily. Okay, we got our ground sausage done up. It's draining on paper towels. And over here I had to switch my potatoes because the burner I have is quite a bit smaller than the actual pan. So I wasn't getting crispy goodness on all the important spots. So I moved it over to a larger pan once the sausage was done. We're getting some very pretty color. Very exciting. That's what you want, because that's what brings out that beautiful flavor. So these are nearing completion. A little bit more time left on that. And over here, I have started the sausage patties for the breakfast sandwiches. So, moving right along here. Once the sausage is done and the potatoes are done, I'm going to go ahead then start scrambling up eggs and get those going while I finish shredding the cheese. Okay, we've got our pan and our butter melted. It's heating up nicely. I've already got my eggs in my bowl here. I do not bother adding milk. I grew up doing that way. I know a lot of folks do it that way. I just don't. And I always have very fluffy eggs. I don't have an issue with it, so I leave it out. So I just gently scramble it, and I'm going to add some salt. Probably about, these are 18 eggs, so a good tablespoon. Give that another little whisk. And we're ready to go. I've got my temperature on about medium. Yeah, medium. And I'm going to go ahead and just pour these in. And I'm going to let these start to set up. And then we will continue on. I'm going to scramble these, and we're going to go over here and we're going to start assembling our breakfast burritos. As I am cooking these, like I said, they're in medium heat. And I just take my spatula and just gently run it back and forth through the eggs. Break them up. You can see them kind of starting to set up a little bit. Take my spatula out, leave it alone for, a minute or two. Come back. I don't ever leave it longer than, a minute or two, because it's going to start setting up into, omelet or frittata shape. But yeah, just assemble back and forth, medium heat. So we will be back in a moment when we're ready to start getting these eggs ready for the burritos. Okay, I did want to mention that we're about halfway through the cooking process, and I'm going to, instead of waiting 1 to 2 minutes, now I'm going to wait only maybe 30 to 40 seconds, because as it cooks, it's going to start setting up faster and faster. So I'm going to not wander. I'm going to stay put, and every 30 to 40 seconds, like I said, we're going to give it a little bit of a mixy-mixy. Alrighty, we're getting closer. Okay, we are finally in assembly mode. Now what I've done here is, this is how I normally do it. Plastic wrap down first, then I do heat my tortillas in the oven, in the microwave, and then I take, that way they're a little bit more pliable, easier to use. So tortilla first, I'm going to take a little bit of the egg, well, a little bit more than that. I ran out of spoons, so I'm having to work with a very large spatula. So I've got my eggs. I'm going to put some sausage down, like so. Then I'm going to add a little scoop of the potatoes. I'm going to try to keep it on the tortilla. And then some cheese. And then, of course, I did it kind of the wrong direction, but I'm going to kind of roll it back towards me, fold, and attempt to wrap it up, tuck everything in, and there's our burrito. I have a different kind of plastic wrap, and it's driving me crazy because it really just does not want to behave. But I'm going to roll it, tuck it at the ends, roll it up, and we've got one done. I'm going to keep going with these, and I will see you back shortly. All right, everybody, we did it. We got a dozen breakfast burritos, and I actually have enough to do easily another dozen. I would just have to make some more eggs. That's all. So we're going to tuck these away in the freezer, and then I will see you bright and early tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you in the morning. Good afternoon, everybody, and we are back. The next recipe is going to be my cheesy chicken and rice casserole. So what I've done here, I am now cooking chicken, and I'm cooking quite a bit of it. I'm making quite a few of these casseroles for freezer meals. So that's enough to do 3 good-sized casseroles, possibly 4 if we're lucky. Over here, I've got my rice, and I'm actually going to have to do probably 2 batches of this rice. It's jasmine rice, or you can use white rice, but I use what I have on hand. I have jasmine at the moment. This is for 1 batch. It'll be 6 cups of cooked rice when it's all said and done. And like I said, I'll probably have to do a second batch. So I'm going to get both of these towards more of their finished stages, and then I will be back. Alrighty, rice is cooked. Yes, I made a mess. I rarely cook rice and not make a mess, so there's that. Okay, chicken is done. It has been moved over here. I put it on a foil lined cookie sheet to just cool off because it's like screaming hot right now. Once it cools off, I'm going to put on these lovely gloves over here because gloves will save the day. I'm going to strip off all the fat, the skin, the excess fat, and then I'm going to take and just shred the meat, put it in this bowl over here, and then really it's just going to be a very simple assembly of mixing together the ingredients, which we'll go over together, and assembling our casseroles. So I'll see you shortly. All right, everybody, we are back, and I've got all my ingredients laid out. I've got the cooked rice. I've got the chicken. The only thing I did after I got the excess fat and skin off and pulled it off the bones was that I did chop it up a bit so that would be more, bite-sized pieces. Over here, we've got our corn. I did defrost 3 bags. I'm not sure if I'm going to need all 3. And over here, an obscene amount of cheese, because I am going to be making a minimum of 3 of these casseroles. And over here, I've got all of my cream of mushroom. I do have cream of mushroom right here. And then I've got cream of chicken over here. And then just some powdered garlic and powdered onion and some salt. And that's really all it is. Now, I could use a spoon. I have used a spoon in the past. I'll get it right. Using a spoon in the past has proven to be very arduous. I have made myself sore stirring because this is one that you do have to mix quite a bit. So what I actually learned is just put on some rubber gloves and do it by hand, and it's a lot more thorough and it takes a lot less time. So pretty much what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go ahead and put the rice in first so I can break it up. If I can get it to come out. There we go. Nice big block of rice. And I'm just going to take and break it up. And it is still actually quite warm. Woo! Oh yeah, it's warm. Okay. Phew, goodness. Okay, so yeah. Then I will go ahead and add the chicken, and again, just dump it in. Get all that goodness out of there. And now I'm going to start mixing that in with the rice a little bit. Just kind of, I don't want to squish, I want to kind of fold. Okay. Try to break up any huge globs of rice I may have. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start adding my soups. This is where it really gets messy. But, like I said, using the gloves is a lot easier. It looks rather barbaric, I'm not going to lie. But it is so much easier. It is so much easier. This is always the fun part, trying to dig the lid out. I got it. I can do this. Okay. Now, I actually will, maybe. I was just going to say that I might actually go ahead and use that wooden spoon just a little bit, but probably not, really. I mean, I'm already in it. I'm going to go ahead and use the second can of cream of chicken and try and just drop it in bare spots. It just cuts down on the mixing. This is really a super easy recipe, and like right now, especially because it is like 10 degrees outside where I'm at, it's very warm and comforting. And I love in cold temperatures where you have recipes, it just, it sticks to your ribs, it makes you feel good inside. Okay, so we've got our first 2 cans of cream of chicken and 1 of the cream of mushroom, and we're back to just kind of fluffing and folding, which is a weird term to use with what I'm doing right now. It looks horrible, but I can guarantee you that it's really, really good. It'll start kind of loosening up as I mix in the soups. Thank goodness for rubber disposable gloves. Actually, these are nitrile gloves. I myself am allergic to latex, and apparently many other folks are as well. See, it's already starting to kind of come together a little bit. Okay, so we get the excess off. I'm going to go ahead and, ooh, it's sticky. I'm going to go ahead and work in, let's see, that one came right off. I'm going to go ahead and put in another can of the cream of chicken. This makes a lot of casserole. But again, it's great because it will last, and it'll last in the freezer for ages. And again, with all my freezer meals, you can pop it in the oven frozen, or you can defrost it first. Just depends on how long you want to wait. But the really beautiful part is that it does last, and it's great to feed a crowd, really. And it's economical. I mean, this is just the chicken I got. I'm sure you probably have this in your area, at least I hope you do, where you can buy the 10-pound bags of chicken leg thigh quarters. I'm a huge fan of those. They're usually very cheap. I've gotten them as cheap as $4.50 for a bag. 10 pounds of chicken for $4.50. And I just stock them up, and when I get them home, I take all the leg thigh quarters out and partition them up, as it were, and then I vacuum seal them and pop them in the freezer. And whenever we need chicken, if you want to do oven-baked chicken, chicken soup, chicken and dumplings, one of these chicken and rice casseroles, I'm in business. And then, so, with this, I used 4 packages of the leg thigh quarters, and in each package, I generally put about 6 pieces. There's 3 of us in this family, so about six to 7. Sometimes you get that odd man out when when you're packaging, but other than that, generally that's a package, and we work with that, and it's very economical. The cans of soup, you can always get a good deal on those, and rice, of course, is one of the basic staples. And you can use any kind of corn. You can use fresh corn. You can use canned corn. I've got frozen, so that's what I used. And I mean, you can't go wrong with that. You really can't. So it's looking really good. I'm going to add some more, but I'm going to put in some corn now. Now, this is like you cook it in the bag. I just heated it enough so that there were no ice crystals. We don't want ice crystals. It's kind of a pain to work with. I'm going to do 2 for sure, possibly 3. I don't really know if I'm going to need that 3rd one, but that's okay. We'll have it. We will eat that up, no problem. We're pretty big fans of corn, so I'm just going to do the same maneuver I've been doing. This is it. I have to say though that this is oddly therapeutic. It's soft and squishy, and you've got gloves on, so you can just you can zone out. Just relax. It's mixing up really, really well. I think 2 bags is plenty. Actually, yes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that last can, because remember, you're going to be freezing this, and so your consistency will change. It's kind of like when you have, ooh, that came out perfect. It's kind of like when you make a pasta dish and you refrigerate the leftovers the next day, it's like a solid brick. Rice, just like pasta, it's going to keep absorbing. So when you make these kinds of things, always err on the looser side of a finished product, because as it bakes, it's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker. Okay, that is looking really lovely. Now I've got everything in. I am going to add some cheese into the mix as well as top the casseroles. Let me just give it a little bit more here. Oh, yeah, we got an escapee here. Okay. That's looking pretty good right there. Now I need to season it. Obviously, I'm going to have to change gloves here. So we're going to take those off. And it doesn't want to come off. I would say for something this size, be liberal with your salt. You know what your family likes. You know what you like. I'm putting in probably about, I know it's got the soups in there, but I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons. Okay. Because again, you've got unseasoned chicken, unseasoned rice, unseasoned corn. There really is no other salt. So you need to add salt. Don't be afraid of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. I actually don't want to put too much in there. Now, onion powder, I'm going to go a little bit heavier on. It gives it a really nice flavor. Okay, now I need extra new gloves. These are vinyl. Okay. Okay, so we've got our seasonings in. I think, can I get these on? I was trying to put 2 fingers in one hole, apparently. Let's see. I think I'm going to give it a mix and then add cheese. If I can get my glove on. Good Lord. My hands are sticky from being inside the last pair of gloves, and now I can't get these on. Yeah, it's not happening real well. But it's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, I think that's about as close as we're going to get. I'm going to give it a mix first and then add some cheese to it. Okay. I feel like I'm playing in wet sand. Now, because I just added the salt and the garlic and onion, I'm going to probably give it a pretty thorough mix. Okay. Now, because I'm going to be using all this cheese for all of the casseroles, I'm not worried about getting weird stuff in the cheese. So I'm just take a big handful and just spread it around. And probably, yeah, about that much. Just a light sprinky dink. And then I'm just going to mix that in. It's starting to make funky noises. Okay. I'm probably wearing half of this on my apron, just so you're aware. Okay, that actually looks really, really lovely. I'm going to go ahead and call that good. I'm going to take these gloves off. I'm going to get our pans over, and we're going to start filling and topping. All right. I've kind of cleared the decks a little bit here. I've got 3 pans here. Can I do it? I'm hoping I get 3. I think I will. We'll find out if I'm right or not. We will find out together. Okay. Now that's a big old spoon. This I fill up about, each one of these I fill about halfway. These are 9 by 13s, I believe. Straight out of Amazon. And I love this got away from me. I love this particular brand. It comes with lids. It's a really nice price. and it lasts me for a good 6 months. About the time I do freezer meals probably every 4 months, so I can kind of overlap. So I get a case, well, not a case, but it's 24 pans, 24 lids, and get them out of Amazon, and I'll make up. This took me, I'm ready to order. Once I finish the lasagnas, it will be time to order because I will use up the rest of my pans. So we got one here. Let's go ahead and top it. Forgive my neon Band-Aid. I scraped my knuckle, and the only Band-Aid I could find in my home is neon orange. So, yeah. So we're just going to take some cheese here. Or a lot of cheese, or an obscene amount of cheese. Did I mention I have a problem with cheese? Yeah, it's pretty bad, actually. I'm one of those that if I ever got locked in like an Italian deli, it would be like bottle of wine and all the cheese I can handle and a corkscrew. I'm good. Having a ball. Okay, so we got one. So we'll set that aside. Bring out friend number 2. I know we're going to get 3. Yeah, that's good. I don't know, I think I'm not good at following recipes unless I'm baking. If I'm baking, I will, because I'm really trying to spread my wings and learn a lot more about baking. I want to start doing bread and rolls. I've baked cakes, and a few cakes, not a lot, and I've done my own pizza dough, that you can keep in the freezer and have it for another day. I'm not super happy with it, and it's not the recipe. I think it was user error, if you catch my drift. Guys, I'm not sure. We might get a 4th one here. I don't know. It could be interesting. Because that one's full, and I definitely have enough here. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Let's top that with another inordinate amount of cheese. Because cheese is our friend. Well, I don't know if it's our friend, but it sure does taste good. My favorites are French cheeses. Oh, I can't afford them very often, but when I do have the opportunity to splurge, oh, I like to get at Kroger, and the larger Krogers, they'll have like sushi, and they'll do wines, and they'll have a cheese section. I don't know why I'm grabbing for the cheese, because I'm talking about cheese, that's why. And you can get like the little sample. Sometimes they're itty bitty guys. They're just little itty bitty wedges, but you can try then imported cheeses, Greek, French, Irish cheeses, Italian. There's some really lovely ones out there. Okay. I don't know. I think we're going to get a 4th one, which would be awesome, because this is absolutely, probably out of all the things I make, this is the favorite in the household. Whenever I say that I've made the cheesy chicken and rice casserole, I get the look. Like, the eyes glaze over. I think it's their favorite. It's mine too. It's actually really good. I think it's a favorite because it's just, it kind of like is mom home cooking. It takes you back, and it's a good memory kind of thing. So, yeah, I think everybody needs at least one recipe like that just makes them feel like they've gotten a warm hug. Okay, we still have plenty left here. So I actually think I can put a little bit more. Yeah, this is, it's a warm hug. Yeah, it makes you feel good. Especially when it's this cold out. All right, so yeah, we got a 4th one. I'm excited. Anytime I'm doing batch cooking, I get one extra of something I wasn't planning on. It's a good day. Okay, so it does look like, however, I'm going to have to actually grate just a little bit more cheese. So let me grate some extra cheese and wash an extra pan, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I got the fourth pan washed off, and my Band-Aid started coming off, so I had to put on a glove, but other than that, that's all the excitement. I did get some more cheese grated, and probably, well, maybe not more than I need. I don't know. I don't like holes, you know. I like it to be an even coating. That way everybody gets some cheese when they have a serving. Alrighty, we are nearing the finish line. And let's see, can I do it? Okay. All the last little bits out of the pan here. And hopefully when I smooth this out, it will be just the right amount. Yep. If I had a couple of maybe extra little scoops, I might put that on, but that's pretty darn good. And it is going to spread out a bit. Get this out of the way. Alrighty, so we are going to top this last little loaf with pretty cheese. This is just a fun recipe. It's super simple. Make ahead. Don't have to stress over it. And like I said, it's like a warm hug. Yep, look, we have just enough, it looks like. Put a little extra. Maybe put a little extra on you. Get that naked corner. No naked corners. All right, we got 4 beautiful cheesy chicken and rice casseroles. When you want to heat this up in your oven, again, 350 if it's defrosted. If it is frozen, 375, it'll take you about an hour, yeah, give or take. So, all right, my friends, we are done for this evening, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will be finishing up our breakfast sandwiches, and we will be making freezer-safe pancakes and lasagna. A lot of lasagna. So thank you for joining me again tonight, guys, and I will see you in the morning. I love you guys, and take care. Have a good night. All right, everybody, we are back ready to assemble our lasagnas. Now, what I've done to save us a little bit of time is, of course, I've got all of our ingredients out here. I've got my ricotta cheese, I've got my meat sauce, and the Hunt's meat sauce that we've talked about before earlier, and I've got my oven-ready lasagna noodles, and over here I have gone ahead and pre-cooked all of our other meats here. We've got ground beef and mild Italian sausage, and then over here, just out of frame, is a boatload of mozzarella. So, and this is a really simple recipe, as you can see. The mild Italian sausage is already seasoned. With the ground beef, all I did was I used salt, and of course my tried and true favorites, garlic powder, onion powder. And that's really it. It's that simple. And this stuff freezes so beautifully. Now I've gone ahead and I've opened 4 cans of this stuff. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to need. So let me go ahead and toss that lid in there. And I always start off my lasagnas with sauce on the bottom. You got to give those noodles something to hang on to so that they can cook in that sauce. So usually about 3 good size ladles, which is, this ladle is about a half cup ladle, half cup measurement. So, and then I just rotate the sauce so that it covers the bottom nicely. And it's not super, I don't have a super thick coating, just a nice decent coating. And then I just take, if I can get them out of the box, my first batch of oven ready lasagna noodles, and then I just lay them down. Plain and simple. And I don't mind overlapping. I don't have a problem with that at all. Okay. Set those aside. Then I'm going to go ahead, take a handful of this sausage. I'm going to sprinkle it down just a little bit. A little bit more in this corner. I didn't get any love. A little bit of the ground beef. And then I'm going to put in my ricotta. I know some folks like cottage cheese. I mean, use what you like. This is a super versatile recipe. You can do this veggie lasagna. You can do, oh gosh, a pizza lasagna, a cheeseburger lasagna. You can have fun with this. Actually, that just popped in my head. I'm thinking those are kind of some fun ideas I might try in the future. And I put just dollops. This is how I grew up doing it and eating it. Just about a teaspoon dollop, about in threes. 3 by 3, basically. So 3 down, 3 across, 3 down. So I don't go overboard on the ricotta. Just enough to kind of do a little dollop here. Now I'm going to try and make 4 of these. I've got enough for 4 pans, I believe. We will find out as we go here, though. We're going to learn this together. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of cheese. I do cheese in between the layers. I do. I don't know if anybody else does, but this is just the way I do it. Okay, and so another layer. Just going to start putting some noodles down again. And I'm going to try and use 1 box per pan. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off really well. Maybe I'll space those out just for the heck of it. And then our sauce. And I want to focus my sauce on the pasta because, you know, that's what cooks your pasta when it's oven-ready noodles. So if you don't have enough juice, your oven-ready noodles will not cook. They'll be crunchy. This is the one time you don't want crunchy noodles. So I'm going to just basically keep going in layers until I have a full pan. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm already on the second layer and I can see that I'm probably not going to get too further along than just 3 layers. So 2 inner layers, 1 top. Okay, so I'm going to, I actually dropped that when I was off camera, of course. So I'm going to put a few more noodles on this one, I think. Like that. And we're going to load on the sauce in this one because this is really, I think, going to be the final layer. Excess out, put that guy aside, grab a number 2. And I'm so glad I have gloves on. I've learned gloves are your friend. That's my little doggy over there. She's got a cold right now. So I'm going to make this top layer quite a bit thicker with sauce because that's going to cook down and again just help our noodles and you know it tastes good. So yeah, there's that. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put some down the edges here just to give it some extra love. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, like if I were building a next layer, I'm going to go back and put the Italian sausage. Just enough to get it in there, a little bit of ground beef. A big old piece of ground beef. I didn't get that one broken up very well, it looks like. A little extra there. And instead of the ricotta, I'm just going to cover it, since it's the top layer now, I'm just going to cover it in the cheese. And I actually have more cheese to grate. This is just the first 2 blocks. But as you can see, I know, the cheese issue. I have the cheese issue. Yes, I do. But I do want that top layer to be nice and ooey gooey melty because that's, I mean, if you eat with your eyes and that's put on the table, yes, please. So we're going to make sure it's got a nice coating of the mozzarella. And generally, you did see me at the beginning of this video when I used pre-shredded cheese. I have nothing against pre-shredded cheese. I use it, as you saw. I actually enjoy using it, but if I'm going to be doing freezer meals, I like to shred my own. Simply because the consistency is better. you get larger shreds. I mean, you can buy it that way, but I just feel like the flavor and the texture is better if I shred it myself for freezer meals. It just seems to come out better in general. But with things like taco casserole, where, you know, that is more of a Tex Mex kind of fun thing. I really don't, if I'm making a lot like I did, I want to be sure I've got plenty. And I got the pre-shred, and it worked out beautifully. But for the rest of these guys, as you've seen with the other recipes, I'm doing my own. And it's a good arm workout, so you can't go wrong there. So we've got the first one done, and it's pretty hefty. I'm digging it. So I'm going to set this aside. We're going to start working on the other 3, and then we'll come back when those are done, and then we will move on, I think, to the final leg of our tour, which is assembling a few breakfast sandwiches and getting those darn pancakes done, because I got a lot of pancakes to make. So I will be right back, guys, and see you shortly. Okay, well, I got the rest of the lasagnas put together. I actually would have had a 4th one, but I actually have enough to do a 4th one, with the exception of these guys. I got the sauce, and I was actually going to order like a dozen cans. I'm like, no, I don't really need them. I just need enough for the lasagnas, and then I shortchanged myself by 2 cans. So we got 3 instead of 4, which is fine. That's plenty. That will last us for several months. And I'm just going to basically save any unused ingredients, and then when I snag some more cans of sauce, I'll whip up that 4th one and toss it in the freezer. So we are done with the lasagnas. I'm going to get lids on them and get them in the freezer, and now we're going to finish up the breakfast sandwiches, and I think we're going to make some pancakes. So I will be right back. Okay, we are back, and we have what's left of our English muffins. These are going to be the little breakfast sandwiches, and they're real simple. I'm just going to do some English muffins, sausage, egg, and cheese. And I initially did start with 2 packages of these. One got sacrificed for early morning breakfasts around here, so I've got 6 of these left. I think I have 6 patties left. And I actually only have 5 of English muffins, so I guess it's going to be a snack for the cook. But that's all good. So I'm going to get busy getting this warmed up and getting these toasted and slicing up some cheese. I'll be right back. Okay, so, well, there you go. There's the first English muffin. Let's see. Probably not going to... I'm the only one in this family that likes, like, toasty bread. But because these are going to be breakfast sandwiches, I'm only doing a light toast. I think they'll just taste better for them. I'm not eating them. I love English muffins, but this isn't for me. This is for their freezer meals for the road. So I'm just going to keep doing the English muffins over here in the toaster. Again, we've already got the sausage patties done. I'm warming up the skillet to start the eggs, and I have gotten all the cheese sliced. And it's, I think I got good enough. After all, it's going to be frozen, and then it's going to be microwaved. So I want it to probably be a little bit on the thicker side. And that's just a mild cheddar. And I'm going to do over hard eggs so that there's no runny yolks, because that can be a little tricky when you're eating a sandwich, clearly. So going to do that, and I'm just going to keep rotating these English muffins as we go. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we are moving along with the English muffins. I'm going to go ahead and try to get our eggs going here. Nope. Toasters are very tricky, or at least our toaster is very tricky. It will get really weird, and I don't care what number you have it set on, it will come out completely white, untoasted. It'll do it every time. And yet you put it back in for that second run. If you are not watching it like a hawk, these are rubber tipped, so No risk of electrocution. I can't even talk tonight. Okay. Okay. Lightly toasted though, just the way they like it. So, okay. Moving on. All right. So, like I was saying, I have my toaster set at like, 3.5, 4. Yeah. And it will still come out pasty white. I'll put it back in like 10 seconds in, it tries to start burning things. It's really, I should probably get like a really good toaster, but honestly, for the longest time, we never really used toasters that much. And it just in recent, probably the last year or two, I want to say, we have started doing more toasts and kind of having breakfast at home, that kind of thing. Forgive me, I think I'm I'm struggling not to lose my voice. Okay, I'm just watching it. So I've got 4 eggs going here, just cracked the yolks, and it's set on medium heat. I'm going to go ahead and get a plate out, and I'm just going to keep working through. I only have 2 more eggs to make, actually, because no, 1 more egg. I only have 5 English muffins. I just have to stay focused, people. Watch me. I'm not doing that great tonight. But anyways, I'm going to grab a plate and just get the eggs out, and then we'll assemble, and then we're going to move on to the pancakes. And I believe that's the last one for the night. So I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so we've got all of our components laid out, and this is going to be just a real simple thing. Just like when I did the breakfast burritos, it's just going to be kind of an assembly line. So I'm going to take the whiter part, the bottom, and I think I'm going to go sausage patty. Let's do, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do egg then, and then the cheese, just like that. Oop, come back here. And there's your sandwich. It's a good looking sandwich, I got to tell you. Yeah, I could eat those a lot. Probably far more than I should. I don't need to get any more chunky. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap it loosely like that, turn it just like the burritos, and roll it up. And we got one done. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock these out real quick. And all I'm going to do is, once they're all done, make sure I get the right sides here, is I'm just going to finish these out by putting them all in a big gallon Ziploc bag and call it good. And it can store in the freezer. It will last several months. So that's what I love about this kind of method of make-ahead meals, because your freezer can be your best friend, and this is great for a really quick breakfast in the morning when you're trying to get out the door, but you don't want to subsist on, a coffee that's loaded with sugar. You don't have time for breakfast. I really love this approach because I'm just like everybody else. Here's a good example. I'm cooking, I'm filming, I'm doing all the things, I'm preparing all this food, but guess what I don't do? At least I haven't been doing in the past, and that is preparing my own food. And so by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I don't want to cook for myself, so I end up, more often than not, eating garbage. And it's the same thing in the morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. If you don't plan ahead, you plan to fail. And that's not the exact quote, but you get my point, where it's very much like we really need to take the time to plan and to make an effort to say, you know what, it's important. It's important for health. It's important for energy, proper nutrition. And it's also a signal to yourself, hey, I matter, therefore I'm going to prep ahead some meals, which is what I've started doing. I've actually, these are just the meals that are freezer meals that are, convenience meals for the weekend. It also is great road food for my family when they're traveling. That's for either our family dinners on the weekends, if I don't do, say, a roast chicken, or we don't maybe do, we do steaks or something, I've got a freezer meal to fall back on. However, for during the week, here I am by myself, it's kind of like, no, I'm going to go ahead and prep good, nutritious meals for myself as well, so that at the end of a long work day, whether I'm projecting, filming, cooking, whatever. Oh, I did that backwards. I can't just say, well, I'm just going to grab something. No, I'm going to go to the refrigerator or freezer and pull out something that I've already made for myself. And it's good for me. It's nutritious. And, it's a win. It's a win all the way across the board. So we have 5 sandwiches for breakfast. And the last thing that we are going to tackle, my friends, is, and I'm having kind of an off day. I'm a little dingy today because my sinuses are giving me quite a bit of attitude. But we're going to make some pancakes, and let's hope I don't burn the house down. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get these in a gallon bag, and the mix that I got a mix. Yes, you can make it yourself. I've done it many times. This time I'm not doing that. I'm using a mix. And it's super simple. It's basically the mix and some water. Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. Especially on a night like tonight where I'm really struggling to kind of keep my wits about me. So let me go ahead and get our pancake mix mixed up and get that skillet hot, and we will find out together if I can actually make some pancakes here. I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I need 2 cups of the actual pancake mix and then 1.25 cups of water. So just because I know how this works, I'm going to get it everywhere anyway. So, see, yeah, so, and I've already got my skillet warming up. Because he had a little extra in the other one, we're going to go call that 2. So, all right, let's focus on our water now. We need 1.25 cups. So, here's 1, and there's our 1/4 cup. And I looked on the box, and actually I can use my 1/4 cup to actually scoop the batter, which is nice. So I'm going to reach right there and grab the whisk and just mix it. You want some lumps in there. I mean, not huge lumps. You want to thoroughly mix it, but yeah, about like that. So, okay. So our mix is done. It says it's supposed to make between 10 and 14 4-inch pancakes. So depending on if I may do double. I don't know. I'm gonna look at these little. I'm envisioning my family eating 4-inch pancakes, and I'm not so sure I'm down with that. I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm going to. I know I could use nonstick spray, but I tend to not use a lot of nonstick spray unless I'm dealing with like aluminum foil on my baking sheet and I don't want anything to stick, and I don't currently have like nonstick aluminum foil. So I do use it. But for this, I want the flavor of the butter because I just, it tastes good. Food is about tasting good, am I right? Okay, so it's already getting sizzly. So I actually am not going to use that 1/4 cup. I'm not making 4-inch pancakes. It's just like, it feels cruel. Let's go ahead and grab, what is this, 3/4? I believe. Oh no, it's a 1/2 cup. Okay, so we're going to go with a 1/2 cup measure. And, hey, perfect. Okay, so let's just try this. We know that the first pancakes never turn out right, I think is the name of the game. Yeah, I know they're going to spread, but I kind of like that size. Let's start with 1, because we all know how that works. So it's on medium heat. Be sure I'm centered on that burner. And we're just going to give it a few minutes. As with all pancakes, when it starts to bubble on top, you see those little bubbles in there, time to flip. So, Okay, we're gonna let that go, and things are looking good, and we will be right back. Okay, so we made our first pancake. It's pretty good sized. It's got really good color on it. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed. I'm going to be making a lot more of this to get this size pancake, which is technically really what I want. So I'm going to go with that. And this took about, I would say about 5 minutes per side. And I moved the temp up a little past medium. So, well, we got the pancakes done. I survived it, and I didn't burn anything down or burn any of the food. So bonus. I got 14 pancakes, and instead of the little 4-inch guys, I went up, and they're about 5-inch pancakes. I did a second batch of batter, and I actually, you can tell that the first ones over here are super big, like thick. Well, the batter was too thick. So the next batch, I actually added a little bit more water to it, thinned it down, and now I've got perfect size pancakes. So I'm just going to package these up and get them in the freezer, and I'll be back to visit with you one last time in the morning. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I'll see you in the morning. Afternoon, everybody. Look at what we've done. We have 10 glorious freezer meals. We've got a couple of dozen pancakes. We've got burritos, a lot of burritos, and those are good size too. And we've got breakfast sandwiches, and all of it is freezer ready. Will be ready at the touch of a microwave button or an oven button. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me. This has been a real haul, but man, we did it together. I am so glad you were here with me. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next time. If you like this content, everyone, please consider liking and subscribing. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.